Graduates, walk on, walk on. How is it going, everybody? What's popping in the nights, yeah? Yes, yes. Big up yourself, Marencha, Dawn. We love how you jump on these days. Oh my goodness, Noriax, what's up? Suzette Alexander, night night. Hey, bro, Shaka, wagwan. You understand? As Don says, welcome one, welcome all. As you enter the classroom, please to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And definitely like up the live as you come in. My people are not used to me coming on at these random times, but this is how it's going to be, which is why I said I'm going in for a bit, because when I tell you, say, me have one whole heap of things I do people. I painted my bathroom today. My husband and I are going to tackle some doors. We've got skirting boards to paint. Look here, whole heap of work. Whole heap of work. You understand? And for those of you who are not aware, it was our 20th anniversary, so we going partying. So in between all of that, we gotta go out and celebrate. You understand? So what heap of things are going. So I'm not gonna give you any set times. I'll come on when I feel like it, if I have the time, if I have the energy, or if I have something that I want to talk about. You understand? And definitely a few things have been on my mind. But anyway, let me share the live over to Facebook. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Yes, that's done. So a few things are going on the media and the people, and I'm wondering what the actual hell, right? And I haven't addressed it because I've just been observing for a while before I came out and said anything and before I did what I needed to do. So I don't know if you heard that recently one of the bloggers, who is discussing the case, then I'm a bed no. So me now show me bonnet. This thing too little bit I know. Yes. So I don't know if you guys are aware that one of the bloggers who basically speaks about the CMR case, that he had his channel striked and he also received bro, Shaka said 20th anniversary, you get married in your teens. No, you already seen it. You already seen me in my bonnet. Me in my bed. Hold on. Let me see who else I'm missing. Before I get started. Beverly G, good evening. Girls are nice. Big up yourself, Marencha. Nikki, good night. Sanika, big up yourself. Pi Gordon, big up yourself. Island Breeze, big up yourself. I'm just making sure that I haven't missed anyone. Anyway, so like I was saying, a blogger that goes by the name of Vibes Studio, Vibes TV, a Vibes Studio TV has received a strike from CMR for his content that he did on him, because he basically featured in his video a video of CMR, which I never do. You guys know that. I don't feature his videos at all, nor the videos of Chrissy. So anyway, the man strike the man channel And while he was coming on live and explaining that this took place, that CMR actually wrote to YouTube in order to not only strike him on the basis of copyright, but also to alert YouTube that this man is basically decimating his character, defaming him, which is ridiculous. But in addition to that, while he was on the live telling everybody, so the man received a second, not a strike, but a community standards flag. So it's almost as though what CMR was doing was then going through the rest of his videos to see what else he could actually flag to YouTube and report. The intention being to mess up the man's channel, of course. So I'm advising bloggers out there to be smart and be wise. There are a number of things that I will do and a number of things I won't do. And I think it's important we share knowledge so that other bloggers out there don't make silly mistakes. First of all, if you notice, sometimes when I come live and I'm finished, I immediately private the live, especially when I'm showing evidence, right? This is about going through the video because sometimes you can't just be too hungry for numbers. You have to catch it while it's hot, yes, but you have to also hang back and make sure that you have gone through and done the appropriate edits in case you missed anything during the live. Because in the heat of the moment, you might fling up something and so on. A strategy is to private the live instantly. Go into your YouTube studio, edit it. Be it that you blur out his face and the face of anybody around him. You cut out anything that may have been live footage or video footage that the man has used, which is his. And then you render that video and you make it public again and premiere it. So by doing so, you've held on to the views that you had while you were going live. And then you capture a fresh set of views so that your views jump up when you premiere it. I'm giving you a tip. Yeah? So bloggers out there who are basically featuring this story, be sensible. Use the tools that you have at your disposal to protect your channel, right? So when you see me go to my people and say, listen, and hold fire because it will be public soon. It means I'm doing the necessaries to make sure that the video cannot be touched, right? Go through your thumbnails before you may have featured his face, cover him face, put sitting on it, blur the face. But your initial launch would have had the face anyway, so people will know, or you just use text, right? You can use images that are indicative of what your subject is about. Him a come at you hard using the book, use the book against him. You understand? In addition to that, when you're presenting your content, do not come out and say he is a child M or he is a P. Or you understand what I'm saying? Be careful not to use affirmatives. Because when you use affirmatives, Mr. Man is going to go to YouTube and say that you're defaming his character because the case has not been tried. And therefore, he has grounds in order to basically flag your stuff for community standards, harassment, bullying, and all of that. You have to use the words allegedly, potential, yes, those kind of things, in order to discuss the case in a sensible way, despite your personal beliefs and opinions, which you should categorically state. Like I will categorically state, in my opinion, he is guilty. But that is my opinion. It hasn't yet been proven. So you have to be smart about how you speak about things, especially when they're going through a process of litigation, so that you don't come across, or at least you can fight any claims that are made on your videos, and you can do so within the constraints of the policies of YouTube. You understand? So when they had taken down a video of mine first, I was the one that was at fault, because when I was going through a document, the full address showed, and that was by accident. It was not deliberate, because I was scrolling and it showed. And CMR is busy watching all of our channels in order to stop this information from being present on the internet. So he's looking for everything in order to take a video down. So he instantly flagged that, right, for harassment and bullying, because his thing showed. So then, because it's the first that has ever happened on my channel, YouTube, of course, gave me the opportunity to do what was necessary. The video was deleted, but I had to, just double check the policies, and that was it. And they were fine with that. But what I'm saying is this. When you use affirmatives, he's going to say that you are defaming his name, because you are basically drawing down a conclusion as a fact. It's different when you say, I believe he would have done this. I believe he is capable of this. I believe potentially that little girl is not lying. That is very different from saying, Ima tell lie, Ima want this, Ima want that. You understand? So that's just a little word of advice to you bloggers out there who are doing this thing. Because I'm going to start with the whole concept of, should we mind our business? Because honestly, I am so irritated by some of these people. But in a way, I kind of understand. Right? Sometimes you have to use empathy, put yourself in other people's shoes, and so on. But this is what I'm going to say to some of you followers, right? Stop over investing in people you don't know in a real life. Because some of you invest in these people to the point where you think you are so much in the know about who they are as a person, that you guys will turn a blind eye to all the facts that are presented in front of your face in the claim that you love the person. I mean, I literally had on my page so many, I don't know if it's desperados or obsessive people, fanatics, who will not see reason in terms of recognizing that there has been a proven pattern of behavior with this man, and continues to be a pattern of behavior with this man, right? That shows that he is not an honest individual. The last time I was here, I showed you guys all of the right, yeah, be careful as well. Yeah, we will be vigilant in the comment section, my moderators, okay? They are so insistent on not seeing patterns of behavior because they choose to remain blindsided by this man and his pretentiousness and his penchant for spinning stories, because they want to believe in a fairy tale. They want to believe in a fairy tale existence. They want to believe it is possible and it is true. All right, so now on my channel on Facebook, and for those of you who haven't followed me on Facebook yet, please do. It's Head Teacher K. When I looked in the comments, I'm going to read to you. Yes, you have to be smart when doing this. This has to be highlighted to prevent future behavior. Yes, we have to be smart, because what I don't want are people getting intimidated out there because this man is doing what he's doing. And a lot of them are starting to go into a shell. And it's simply because they're not using tactics. In war, there's always tactics. Yes. And you have to be strategical in what you're saying, how you're saying it, and how it's presented. But anyway, somebody came on my page, and I don't normally highlight hearsay and comments like this, but the person had reached out to me before, and they had retracted their message. However, I found what they said particularly um, interesting, and I thought I would share it with you. I'm not going to put it on the screen because I haven't edited it. As I said, I've been busy, but I'm going to read it to you. And later on, I'll drop it in my community section so you can see that the message is real. But hold on, let me just grab it. So in the comments section, this individual sent me this message. And in the comments, they basically said, hold on. Well, him a tell people say the case drop. Him and the wife been out and about. Don't let she fool you know. I so hope someone go and dig up the case and see if it dropped for true. Saw the B-Stad, yeah, last week, about a lied child a tell and how the mother a frame him. Debna left with her fake ass self. Okay. The person then said, I responded and said, send me any evidence you have. The person then said, he spoke to someone directly and I was close by them. Heard him say, oh, the case dropped, and how he was arguing with the wife, and the wife told the little girl to go to school and lie to the teachers. Now, as I said, I don't know how true these comments are. The person has not sent me physical evidence, but we're going to explore the perspective, so to speak. I also responded to this individual and said to them that, listen, this could also be him spinning a narrative and telling lies to whoever it is he was conversing with in order to make it seem more downplayed than it actually is in reality. Now, if the case was dropped, guys, there would be an instant update. Okay? It would be almost instantaneous, right? And there has been no update to suggest that the case is closed, because if it's dropped, it would be closed. The status has not changed, it still remains open, right? And plus, there are certain things, certain steps that need to happen legally for the case to claim that it has been dropped or dismissed. We would see some movements, right? And there have been none on the case so far. And I don't want to say that while talking out of my backside. So I'm just going to check while I'm on the live with you now. Because if there's been an update in the last 5 minutes, I want to make sure that I'm telling the truth, right? So, as such, you can rest assured that that is more than likely going to be a lie. But what it does point to, if this is the case, if what this person is claiming is true, is that a narrative is being spun out there around how they intend or how he intends to handle the case. Now, if he's making these claims, it is clear that him really and truly have no intention of walking away from that family and that household. And that all he wants to do is to clean up his image on social media and the press in order for him to carry on either living his reckless and feckless lifestyle, as we have observed from the various, because he now has 6 cases, don't forget, from the various other cases that he's been racking up. Or he wants to, him and Chrissy have intentions of making that little girl retract And just imagine the situation if all of them are under the same roof with something like this. Right, so see, it's still open. There's no update here as far as I can see. It still just has the plea, the arrest, nothing on the disposition, nothing on the sentence, right? Documents still locked because, of course, they're trying to keep those things confidential because it involves a child. Bond is still remains active. Now, if he had the case dropped, his bond would not be active. It would be closed. And it still says his bond is active. You understand? So I can assure you that on that basis, we can determine that he's lying. He's claiming these things in the public if what this person says is true. And notice my language very specifically and clearly. If this claim is true, then he is painting a narrative in order to detract from what's going on. He's distracting the crowd. That's right. You understand? He does not want people to pay attention to the heat in the kitchen. Now, I am assuring you that after revealing that this man has racked up 5 other cases, where he now has a debt of nearly $2,000 to pay to the state, that a lot of his performances and his pretending as though everything is well and not speaking about it has to do with his desire to rack up enough income in order to pay. The pay deadline is the 31st of December. So he's going to be doing the most leading up to in order to get paid some money. You understand? Now, the pay date has already passed for the previous month. That's going to come in for this month. So last month is going to get paid. And then now, by doing all of this, then by January, he should be able to make payments towards his debts. If he has to dip into whatever savings he has left after the bond was paid, etc., then he has to do that. Now, apparently, he was on his last thing talking about purchasing a house and stuff like that. I mean, guys, listen, I don't know what's possible. I don't know what's not. But then, these are the kind of things that sink you with prosecution because you claimed you did not have any money to pay, but it could just be that his money is tied up in whatever it is he's arranged where this property is concerned, if it's true, which would still leave him skint because if he has invested his money in property, then hello, he may not have any cash in order to afford certain things. But all I can say is that by spinning the narrative out there, if the claim is true, this man has every full intention to try to get this little girl to retract her statements and to actually say that she lied. Now, on the basis of the comments, if what this person stated took place, and he is claiming that an argument between himself and Chrissy is what led to Chrissy telling the little girl to lie to the teacher, then such statements are painting a very negative impression about his wife. And also highlighting the fact that she could indeed be an emotionally abusive mother. That's if the statement is true, right? Now, let's take the scenario that it is true. Just imagine that situation where you end up telling your daughter to lie in school in order to rid yourself of your partner. That only shows how much you despise the man and how much you want nothing to do with him. And it almost marries up and matches up with the behavior of Chrissy towards the man in public view. But then in the statement that was given to me, it contradicts the fact that they were seen in public out and about shopping together. While they could just be co-parenting in terms of shopping for the sake of the little girls, so that, he has an input on the gifts, etc.
Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a happy home, but it certainly means that there are some kind of levels of communication taking place, which leaves an avenue open for him to weasel his way back in. It don't add up. Yes. Okay, thank you, Grace. Right? The case being dropped allegedly does not mean that it's not true. Correct. Yes, such a damaging claim, Kismetit. It is a very damaging claim. People were even trying to say it from years ago when clearly it said 2024. I know they're just stuff. The YouTuber lied to Mr. Vegas. He's a master manipulator. He could easily spread lies. Correct. HDK, another YouTuber, did a vlog sometime this week and said the case is in a pre-sentence status, that they have to investigate before further action. Yes, okay. So everybody's going on about this pre-sentence thing down pre-sentence because it was also on the arrest mugshot information. It was in pre-sentence state from then. All it means is that an investigation is underway. It's nothing particularly outrageous or fascinating or new, to be honest. Maybe this blogger is only just picking up on it, but from that picture that went out with the black background and his mugshot, pre-sentence was already on that. It does not mean that the status of the case has changed. This is how it's always been from it was uploaded on the system. So while the blogger may just be exploring it, this is actually old news for us over here who have heard about it before. So yeah, just to let you know, I'm sure SoFlo is doing its thing, but that's not new information, respectfully, right? Um, but like I said, that statement was something else. It did blow my mind just a little bit. But as I said, those things are hearsay, and until I have hard evidence, I'm not going to go with it. But I will always consider the viewpoint of the public and what their thought processes actually are. And if it's a lie, then it gives insight to the kind of things that people are thinking and the kind of paranoia that's growing out of this case because of their persistent silence around it. So as they continue to be quiet and not speak and then do things like go out of their way to strike um, YouTubers' pages who are speaking in a derogatory way towards the case or towards them, then people are starting to say, well, you must be guilty because you're trying to shut them up. If you were innocent, you would let them dig their hole. And then when everything comes out, you'd be able to laugh in their face. But by erasing historical records of the situation, then you are giving an impression of guilt. But I've started the live by giving you an alternate perspective that you have to be careful with how you are handling the information in order to avoid such actions, right? Um, Pre-sentences, maybe he didn't fight the charges. No, he's fighting the charges. This man is hell-bent on destroying this child with his lies, right? This person that made the statements just wanted attention. Silly. Exactly. Hi, Unique Treasure. Big up yourself. Hi, Lakeisha. So, like I said, by being silent about things, they're allowing rumors to spiral out of control. They're allowing people to walk away with their own ideas, create, suspicion, all those kind of things. And then they're riding the wave with it by using it as an opportunity to go live because everybody's on tenterhooks wanting to know what their response is going to be. CMR is receiving the blunt of the treatment because when I tell you that Vibes was live, and when Vibes was live, the man had way more numbers because he had Momo on his live. And he had way more numbers than CMR, literally for the duration of his entire live, which he did at the same time as the man because he wanted to distract the audience. Now, this is the part that I don't understand. You go live at the same time of the man whose channel you striked. And you did that with the intention of diverting your audience away. And I can assure you that a lot of your audience was over on the man's life, listening to the fact that you strike him page and all the other stuff that they were saying about you. You were completely defeated, and you could see it in your face, the way your eyes were, you were looking so out of sorts because you had never seen your numbers that small. And that goes to show you that people are getting fed up of your approach to this case. They're getting fed up of your silence, and they're getting fed up of your pretentiousness. You understand? It just will not work. And if they manage to get this case completely dropped, you're always going to have the he who without sin cast the first stone, you know, Bible bashing types, fanatics who are going to always support these people. Listen, is he the first that has a claim of child assault or interfering with children in a sexual manner? Have you not seen this before in our community? We've seen it before, and they still have a whole bunch of followers, a whole bunch of subscribers who still dash money at them and whatever. Remember Mr. Handsome, Mr. Handsome is one of the biggest examples out there. Mr. Vegas is always referring to him, so I am not at, I'm also at liberty to also refer on the basis that I actually went through the court documents on one of my previous lives. And what he was arrested for was that no minor thing. It was an extreme form of predatory behavior. And he then went to Jamaica, reestablished himself, still continues to be around children, be it his own or others, particularly when he's doing charitable stuff. And the Jamaican government has done absolutely nothing to ring fence him. And of course, he continues to have full support, and people are like, he's changed, and people can change and whatever. So we've seen it before, guys. So it does surprise me that these people exist. But which should we mind our business and not talk about it at all? Should we completely remove it from the agenda and continue and allow these things and to exist in our community in the diaspora as though it's a form of normality? It should go unchallenged. Listen, I heard a very stupid commentary. I mean, when I say it was stupid, it was bogglingly stupid, where a vlogger was claiming that, oh, it isn't content when you come out and you curse people every day. Okay, yes, they may have done something wrong, but that's not content. Stay in your lane. Stay in your damn lane. Because many times it is bloggers who come out here and raise awareness socially and politically to the point where change has to be executed. Do you know how much governments pay attention to what bloggers like us are saying when we present facts out there? Because we don't just talk. And this is why I say to my fellow bloggers who are dealing with this, come with receipts. Whenever you're stating something, come with receipts. Like I said, I'm going to show you that the commentary that I referred to is correct, is real. It happened on my page, and I shall post it in my community page. But anytime you make a claim, if you don't have facts to back it up, then hello, it's just hearsay and you won't be taken seriously. Take the time to conduct research, to look into things on a deeper level, so that when you present stuff, it's analytical and doesn't come across as personal. Now, somebody up at the top, I think, asked me what pre-sentence means. Pre-sentencing is simply something that is occurring. It's either happening before the sentencing in terms of investigation, looking at the impact of the crime, the alleged crime on the victim, gathering information about the offender. Okay. And as I said, from the moment he was arrested, it was put in pre-sentence state. So it's nothing dramatic or, whatever. It's what most people will get when they get arrested and there's an investigation taking place. So nothing has changed from the point of arrest to this date. So while some people might think that this is new, it's not new. There is a very clear mugshot picture, which I have on file, and I can put that in community as well, that clearly states pre-sentencing. Okay. So policies change when YouTubers shed light. Exactly. They can change the statement, but the city will still pick it up and the court go on until it throws out. Yes. So walk one time, big of yourself. So as I said, it really is about us knowing how to present information and how to actually tackle a very controversial issue. If you're not a controversial blogger, stay in your lane. But do not come out here and try to silence us or tell us what's content and what's not. Because to us, your content is not contenting. I'm not lying. But to you, our content is not contenting, and that's absolutely fine. But if you notice, we're not coming out here to talk about the fact that, oh, you should not be speaking about this or speaking about that or doing things certain ways. Mind your business is what will apply to you. But what we're going to do is we're going to mind the business that's controversial and needs exploring and needs hardcore conversations to happen. Because we're about making sure that our audience is educated and very much aware of the problematic situations that are happening in our diaspora that continues to go without solution. Far too many times we have seen people who have molested or assaulted minors, vulnerables repeatedly, and they are placed on a register that is hidden in Jamaica. And as such, because that register continues to be private, these people are meandering through your community, living next door, and giving your little grandkids donkey back ride and all them something there. Piggyback ride, because a piggyback, but me say donkey back. And you don't even know it. You've got dancehall artists who are out there promoting lyrics that basically celebrate going after underage girls. And such lyrics are passed without censoring and played on top radio stations. There is something very amiss in our society which lacks a cancel culture around very, very detrimental things that can ruin generations to come. And if you think that's something that ought to be silenced, pitiful for you. But we shall not stop discussing it. At the end of the day, I question myself when I hear people saying that we're being too harsh or we're coming down too much on certain people and leave them alone and God alone will judge. You don't know that prayer without works is dead. Hmm? And you can't sit on the talk about God, 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 deal with this and don't do anything. God has given you two hands, 2 feet, but He's also given you a brain. He's also given you the capacity to think. And some of us only think on a linear level. You think this is not beyond CMR? It's bigger than CMR. It's bigger than CMR because there are many CMRs. You understand? Men who prey on barely legal girls are often fully capable of going below the legal age limit. Let that sink in for a minute. You understand? So, while everybody is free to talk about it, what you're not free to do is to tell us not to talk about it. That may I say. You get me? Big up yourself, Nadine. You are doing God's work. Big up yourself, Jamar. It's very different when there's a personal vendetta and you're going after people, which is why just out of respect to that other blogger that got that strike. Let me tell you something. Getting a strike is no big deal. It's when you get it on a multiple occasion, obviously your channel can go down. You're doing the smart thing, you're building a second channel, right? But don't get personal about it. Me get strike already, you know. Amari strike me, you know. Amari strike me. Me get strike already. You hear me come out in a ball? I'm not gonna. Because at the end of the day, that was back in the day in my younger YouTube years when we definitely never know what like a strike. You understand? So when that took place, it was a video that it was so old, I could have kicked myself for having it up there. Right? But truth be told, you're not a seasoned blogger if you haven't had a strike. It's considered a part of your marination. You understand? Although we know the vibe's been around for a long time still. But all I'm saying is this. Do not let it become a personal vendetta when you are responding to him. Let it be about the situation. Let it be about the case. And not let it be about, because you strike me, may I go do this or may I go do that. Yeah, okay, you have to get that off of your chest at first. But after that, you move on and it's time for you to just focus on what it is that we're dealing with here. We are anxiously awaiting the update of the case. We're waiting for it. But that statement that was made by that individual really made my cogwheels start to turn around in my head. Because I'm just like, what if what if this true? I'm looking at it as, what if it's true from Cmr'S side, meaning that whatever this person is claiming he said, what if it's true that this actually happened? That him and Chrissy have a fight and she met the little girl tell lie on him, which I don't. And then I had to think, well, what if it's true that this is what was overheard by the person that he was telling people? And therefore, he's busy spinning a narrative in order to once again bury the situation and cover it up even deeper, with the full intention of returning back to his household in order to carry on his dirty deeds. I'm going to tell you this. You see, if this man is guilty, if he's guilty, and if he's allowed to come back into that house, what is going to happen next is going to hit the headlines. You see him out there, so, and a gun range, and all there's something there. He had to hand in his own weapon. It's not illegal. It's not against his bail conditions for him to go to the gun range. It's against his bail conditions for him to handle a gun, as in have one on his person, right? So his personal weapon he cannot have. But for him to go to a gun range, that's not classed as his weapon. So it doesn't breach his conditions, guys. You understand? But what it shows is that they're practicing that almost as though he is issuing some kind of subtle threat. I really do not understand what kind of black magic Chrissy might be under with this brother. It's the whole we are come from nothing to something situation. I don't know how much further she intends to go down by in this whole guise of standing by your man. But I can tell you that when it comes to a child making such a dangerous claim, it must be taken very seriously. And I often wonder, based on what I'm observing, though it is not the majority of the time of our life, you know, in the few hours that we see something, I wonder if it's being taken seriously at all. So Bershaka says, even if that is the case, it's not going to be closed so quickly. Sometimes you have to help people to realize their sins. Absolutely. It's sad to me though that so many of the followers are just operating blindly. On another note, let's move on because, as I said, it must never be personal. It really is about the bigger lesson at hand, and it really is about the protection of the child, and it really is about making sure that other people do not follow bad examples, right? And I think this is one of the reasons why, when it comes to the whole Ramesh case, people are losing sight of exactly what the real issue is. Everybody's going on about, oh, you people are so evil. He's done so much good, and that 1% bad is what you are crucifying him for. A man made a mistake. And I'm just like, here we go again. Another set of people who are not paying attention to facts and details. Here we go again. Big up on yourself, those of you on my Facebook page who reached out for that video that I sent you that showed that this is not the first occasion where a beating was ordered by Ramesh. It's not the first. You had a whole video where you could clearly see the very same ex-cop, because I'm sure he's ex now. I'm using that like, the same Andre brother, a bust up people backside for suspected theft. And this was right at a hotel. It has happened before. So when you guys say he has done so good, so much good, and he make one mistake, that straight away tells me you're uninformed. And it's either you're uninformed because you haven't done the research, therefore you're just going by what everybody else say. 2, you're trying to cover up. 3, you're basically hungry for sweets. So because he may be dashing sweets your way, you're gonna go down this path of saying he's done so much good, right? But you see, because me no depend nobody payroll, but me own. I am not going to sit in front of you guys and say it was no mistake. It was deliberate. And it was not the first deliberation when it came to physically harming someone else and taking the law into your own hands. Now, I'm pleased to say that Moya is going to take him to court. And just like I mentioned, I said, listen, you need a champagne. Tammy, I think you said that too. And indeed, that is what she will be getting. Right? And then Monday, a big council, King's Council. Right? And they definitely have every intention of going for the full arm of the law. So let me play what she said. Okay? Bear with me 1 second. All right, hold on 1 second, yeah? Let me mute this because I don't want the wrong sound to come up. You know, when you go on TikTok, sometimes it just start playing some random music. I mean,
fee is not cheap, babes. As a lawyer's fee is not cheap, babes. And I'm so mad because up till now, there are some people who are behave like say we are drag the situation or yeah, to all some people that talk on internet that's written send a sign on form and say, yes, I'm going to go to this party and get assaulted so I can come at the media and milk it. Bro, y'all don't even understand how this shit is ruining me.
you see how hypocritical people are? You see how them fake, right? First of all, they're saying that, oh, you should go and you should take matters into your own hands, and you must go to you must go to the police, you must go to the lawyers, you must sue him for everything. And then now that she's doing it, what's happening is that the voices of those going forgive and it's a 1% bad, 99% good is raising over the injustice of what they experienced, and now they're basically saying that they're money hungry. They deserve to be compensated for the assaults. They deserve to be compensated. Their image has been tarnished. They've experienced and continue to experience PTSD. They are they're having to constantly relive the scenario in their heads on a day-to-day basis. The trauma is real. And you are expecting all that physical bruise and everything, swell up foot, black and blue upon them body and all them something there. The bruising to that young man's ego. All of that must just go away with that. I'm sorry. And this is why our community will never ever grow in the right way. Because we seem to like to shovel shit down our throats on a day-to-day basis and sap it and see. Anyway, go on listen.
Mentally, let me go through a lot, right? Not to mention financially, because it's not going to be cheap. This lawyer that we got, is a top lawyer. It's not cheap. I don't understand. Like, this shit is costing. So I wish I could just walk away and leave, but I cannot, because I have to stand up for those who do have a voice. Even at the same event a few hours before we got assaulted, there's a video of a young boy getting assaulted by the same group of people. That's crazy to me. So what about that little boy that will get assaulted? What about the girls that will come forward and let me know that this happened to them 2019, 2020, this, that year? No, can't let it go. I'm always saying that this, I am a principled girl. I fear nobody but God, and I stand against the world. I am capable of doing that. Some people said, if I'm not concerned about my life, that's fine by me, because as I said, if nobody stands up for it, if nobody brave enough to stand up and face whatever corruption, power, whatever evilness and violence are going to the country, how is it going to get better if nobody can stand up for something? Because
you hear that? And that's from a young girl. And the old taffel them, the big yam foot them, the gray front, big silver back. All of them all depend. The good Lord. I tell you, faith without works, dead. Prayer without works, dead. Right? Now, while I'm saying that, listen, she must go for this and whatever. It is going to take a lot of financial support and trust and believe. There are some of us who are willing to contribute. Me willing to contribute. Any of them bust a GoFundMe, me I put money in that. And it's not just about, oh, you guys just want to tear down Ramesh and tear down one another. No. It's full time you guys recognize that this kind of donemanship and bad man attitude that you guys consider to be okay is not okay. You guys are basically still being enslaved down there in Jamaica, by your very own, and some not your own. Nobody not supposed to look upon another citizen and order a bunch of goons to physically attack them. And amongst those goons, especially, is a police officer. Police officers belong to the state. You understand? Now, Tammy says, okay, I listened to a YouTuber who did a video defending the major one, and I was flummoxed by it all. Some people just think everyone should accept injustice. Yep. Let's speak hypothetics and say, if lives were lost, what would people say then? And this is the thing, because if guys, as I said, I was not able to play the full video. If you want the full video, you can reach out to me on Facebook and I will send it to you in your messenger, but I cannot put that on a public platform. And you will see the blows that this young man received. If you haven't gone over because a lot of people can't play it, right? Maybe on YouTube it may exist, but on some channels that may have been getting flags for it, which is why I send things in people's inbox. When they ask for it, I'll send it. But when I tell you, when you see the degree of beating, with them giddy you to know, and it's on more than one occasion the man get lick. I said, I've broken it down to 3. He said it's 2, it's 3, because you got boxed up in front of the man, you get beat up in the car park before you go to the man and say, well, go on, and then you get beat up again when you were exiting the situation. Right? Now, the first beat up where you get in the car park may not have been on his direct orders, but they were his people. There's a lot of suing to take place. Right? There's a lot of suing to take place. So when it is that you people are saying all the good and nobody's denying that this man did good. Ramesh did a lot of good. But one must not be allowed to do charitable works and then hold the people ransom as a result of it. And that's what I see happening. I see people holding the poor and the vulnerable to ransom on the basis of sweets. Because even the men that were the send-out boys were being held to ransom. Listen to me carefully. The fact that they were so quick to go out there and broke up a boy, you know why? Because the sweets that they were given have whet their appetites for more. And the boss knowing that them want more sweets will be able to use that power in a very malicious way if given the opportunity to continue. And this does not go also for him. It draws attention to the fact that there needs to be certain laws involved or evolved around gunmanship, right? It's almost like a setup of community tribal war that needs to be looked into. You've got human beings who feel they can operate above the law, getting away with it on the basis of power and connections and money. And it has been an ongoing sad tale in the garrisons, which they think that they have. I heard somebody the other day say that no more than no day again and I get a lie on a tale. Dan still dead, but they have learned to lay low. Whereas once upon a time, them used to spray paint Dan name all over the wall, them and the zinc fence them. And so from you step into that area, Dodo's area. Or from you step over the other person, the area, and so on and so forth. Now the Dan them I make them know straight and put them name away. But they're still very much there, giving orders and directives. So don't think for a minute that the government has gotten rid of them. What the government did, especially with that that thing that happened in Tivoli. They've allowed the dance to become more covert and more sneaking. You understand? So that they continue to exist. And some of the dances that have come up now, as in the modern day ones, them hardcore. Because they are not operating under the same ethics. Because there was always some rules to the game as the previous generation of dance. So them money and have no problem. I dash for somebody for the slightest thing. Now, when you mix and you work with people from these communities, in a way, you have to absorb some of their mindset in order for you to deal with them. And that's the truth. Because you can't go in the ghetto and start talk speaky spooky like you're Lisa Anna. Nobody not going to listen to you. Then they're going to say, oh, she's all nice, see? But that's about it. But when you get too absorbed in it and don't know how to separate yourself, you're going to end up acting just like one of these dons because you're stepping in with money in your pockets. Straight away, people want to do things to you and they around you and whatever, whatever. Suddenly, all of a sudden, you start to have a whole bunch of charges and people who you can say, go get this, go buy that, go do this. And having that authority can really give you a false sense of almost like you're a demigod. But when you take that power and you pit it against others to the point where you think you are untouchable by the law, and then it is captured on video with your voice, and then you come forward and you admit culpability by apologizing, and the law does not respond, then really and truly, the law is going to look like it's ineffective. The government is going to appear corrupt. The justice system is going to seem imbalanced and unjust. And therefore, everybody fails. So when people just step on, leave this, leave this, leave that, I'm glad that the one person that have some amount of balls is Maya. And I'm going to play her again.
Lawyers' fee is not cheap, babes. And I'm so mad because up till now, there are some people who are behave like, say, we are drag the situation, or yeah, to all some people that talk on internet, that's written some sign one form and say, yes, I'm going to go to this party and get assaulted so I can come at the media and milk it. Bro, y'all don't even understand how this shit is ruining me mentally. Let me go through a lot, right? Not to mention financially, because it's not going to be cheap. And this lawyer that we got, is a top lawyer. It's not cheap. I don't even understand. Like, this shit is costing. So I wish I could just walk away and leave, but I cannot, because I'm officer for those who do have a voice. Even at the same event, a few hours before we got assaulted, there's a video of a young boy getting assaulted by, the same group of people. That's crazy to me. So what about that little boy that will get assaulted? What about the girls that...
Are you hearing that? At the same event. Now, Moya is talking about a video that I haven't seen yet, but maybe I get it. But I am here to tell you that I have a video at another place with the same guys conducting another assault and claiming they're doing it on behalf of Ramesh Entertainment. And you think that this is just one time. I know that in Jamaica, people are very scared of challenging authority or people who have these kind of connections. Everybody afraid for them life. And worse, when them living at the ghetto, it's like, you know what, me not inform, me not say nothing. But then that is where the voice of bloggers like us will be used appropriately to raise the awareness. Because I can assure you that I have got government officials on my channel who have reached out to me in my inbox, and they listen and they watch. You will be surprised how far our voices go. And so the work must continue. So big up to Maya for taking a stand. And big up for all the bloggers who will not be silenced on the basis of he who without sin cast the first stone. Those of us who recognize that prayer without works is dead, and that we are doing the work that many of you are too coward to even try to do. And respect to those bloggers who don't back down from the rights, nor get intimidated or shaken. But it's really important that while doing the work, we are smart about it. Don't put your channels at risk to the point where you cannot do the work that is required. You understand? Anyway, guys, like I said, I'm not here to stay for a long time, just a short and sweet time, right? And this really was about me connecting with my graduates. As I said to you guys, I am so busy, right? And I want to make sure that I keep you guys informed. Big up on a nice clean self. Make sure you like up the live and share the live. If you are new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and of course hit the bell, not once but twice, so that you get the alerts whenever I come live. Let me make sure that I haven't missed anything significant in the comments before I go. Blessing says men don't show emotions and he's going through a lot because society looked down on men as being weak. Exactly. When TJ was on his live talking about, oh, be all right, man, and Maya look like she really feel it every minute she cry and stuff, and then he starts talking about, oh, but think my work, my thing can't work tonight. Probably can't get a little action tonight. He's trying to soothe his bruised ego, his broken ego actually, because it's not just bruised, it broke up. He's trying so hard to do that. And it is clear that it has greatly affected him because when I listened to his speech afterwards, when he was like, oh no, him cannot fathom why it happened. He doesn't understand why it got that extreme. What reason would Ramesh have to angle him like that? Him cannot get it. And it's the shock of it, why it is that he's basically going into himself more than anything else. Because he thought he was safe. You understand? And this is not about the amount of charity the man has done. Nothing can take away from the amount of charity the man has done. But a lot of dons do charity too, A lot of dons pay school fees. A lot of dons put on treat, make sure, lunch money there and all these things. A lot of dons do that. But then said dons would turn around and they will ask for your 13-year-old girl to come see him. Said dons will turn around and then would bury people in a shallow grave because them challenge the Dan or them lose one gun. Yeah, said Dan. Does that make it right because they've given you sweets? And then they use fear tactics to stop you from speaking. I'm not saying that Ramesh is a bad guy. In fact, I don't think he is at all a bad person. But I think he's capable of some surely wicked acts. And that he needs to look into himself. And if he needs to face the consequences, let him do it. Because at the end of it, he has to come out a better person. And it's as simple as that. Big up yourself. This is your girl, Teacher K, and I'm out.